Alright, so right now we're out here at night. Got my drop light hanging here. And what I'm going to try to do is remove the crank pulley and maybe the lower cover. Now, I went ahead and sprayed this down with PB Blaster. I'm going to let it soak for a minute. But what I've generally found is the case is that on crank pulleys, if the fastener is easy to get off, the pulley is going to be hard to get off. And if the pulley is easy to get off, the fastener is going to be hard to get off. That's the case with Honda pulleys. Honda crank bolts are very tight, but the pulley you can get off with your hands. I think Nissans, I'm going to assume the nut isn't terrible to get off, but the pulley isn't particularly fun to get off. Now I have some pullers that'll help me do this. Over here I have two different styles. I don't know if I'll need both of them, but I have kind of a bigger one right here, and then one that can lock the jaws right here. So I'm gonna try one of them out. If the other one, if one doesn't work, then I'll end up trying the other one. But I'm gonna see how much I can get done tonight. I don't plan on getting a whole lot done, honestly, but still gotta try to do something, right? So we're gonna get to work on that. Now, right now I have this on jack stands, and to break the crank bolt loose, what I'm going to do is put it in gear, and I put it in 5th gear actually, because then me cranking on this will have less torque to the wheels, and it'll have less energy to turn the wheels, because I don't want the wheels turning because it's sitting on jack stands. So I have it in 5th gear to give the engine less torque to the wheels, and am just gonna put my 27mm socket on here and try to break this loose. Alright, so even with it in 5th, it's having too much torque. I can feel it moving on the jack stand, so I'm not gonna do it that way. What I'm gonna do though, well, I don't even know if I'll get enough room like that. That's not really the problem. I was gonna say I'm gonna remove this fan because I thought it was coming back against the fan, but it's not. I'm not 100% sure what it's hitting against coming back, but long story short, I don't have enough room for my impact to fit in between the two. And like I said, whenever I use my 1/2-inch ratchet, there's way too much torque and I can feel it moving on the jack stands. Look at how much no tension there is in that. There's supposed to be 4mm in between that bit and this bit. There's probably almost a centimeter at least right there. So yeah, this belt is like stretched, or just maybe this pulley is, I don't know, I don't know. It's probably because the teeth jumped actually. But so I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to get this off here without the car falling on top of me. Alright, although I didn't really want to open up the AC system, looks like I'm going to take off the condenser first. I'm going to remove these two fasteners holding on the condenser fan. Then I'm going to pull it off, and of course disconnect the electrical connector. And if you have an NA or TT or whatever, you should have brackets up here holding yours on. I had to hack mine off to fit the Howell radiator in here, so I do not have those. But what I do have are the lines holding on the AC lines, or the lines holding on the condenser down there. It looks like they have little brackets also at the bottom that connect to something or other. They just connect to the condenser. So I think I can just disconnect the lines, one right there and one over there, and it should be good. So I'm going to spray a little PB Blaster on those to hopefully break them loose and get them off there. Of course, like I said, after I remove these, now I have made the mistake before. I can't remember if I mentioned this. I took off this and it fell right into here, and I had to go down into all this tunneling of crap down here and dig it out. So you want to shove some rags into this to keep that fastener from falling down there, because that's the last thing you want to do is have to dig that out of there. Trust me. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Alright, now I have the condenser removed, and I forgot to mention that you don't want to do this if it is charged. You want to have it evacuated, because Freon is not free, unfortunately. Especially if you have a pre-93 car. that is charged with R12. R12 is very expensive. It's not a fun thing to have to buy. But luckily you can't convert to 134A. I just haven't. So mine's an R12 system, and it worked when I first got the car, but this fan went out right here. I had to replace it, but I'm thinking over pressurized and blew somewhere because the fan wasn't cooling it. So right now I should have enough room, almost certainly, now to get this nut off with my regular impacts. We'll see if it has enough ass in it to do it. I'm not sure it does, but we'll try it since it is just an electric one. It hasn't come off yet, but I don't know, my impact just wasn't beefy enough. I may actually have to borrow someone else's. I don't even have a really good compressor, honestly, so I'm not sure how well my compressor will, even though I borrowed somebody's impact, I'm not sure how well it would get it done. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. And I may actually just have to put it back on the ground. I don't know why I'm beating around it, because honestly what's keeping me from breaking it loose with my ratchet is the fact that it rolls backwards on these jacks. All I have to do is lower it down. I won't have to worry about it, so I may have to do that. But yeah, we will we'll see. I may actually do that right now. Yeah, I probably will, so let's do that. Alright, I put it back on the ground. It came loose almost instantly. Oh, it's actually a crank bolt. I thought it was a nut. But yeah, it came loose almost instantly, so that was pretty easy. Just have to pull this off now. Now the crank bolt is out, I'm gonna set my pulley up. My puller, not my pulley. Let's see, is there a... There's a bottom in there, but it's way down there. I'm not sure if that'll work or not. I may actually have to use the bolt back in there. That's probably what I'll end up doing. So I'm going to put the bolt back inside just a little bit, and then set up the puller on there and get ready to pull this off. I'll show you how to set up the puller too, or how I'm going to set it up. There's actually holes inside of the balancer here that a lot of people use to pull. It's probably the best place to pull from, honestly, but that is not where I'm going to be pulling from. Now I went ahead and put the car back in neutral and turned the crankshaft back to where you can see this timing mark and put it at 0 degrees. So in theory that should actually be TDC. You can see that looks like it's a tooth off. That's a few teeth off. That's a tooth off, and that's a few teeth off. So we're actually going to take this off and see, but now I'm going to put the puller on now. It's TDC, or should be. Alright, now as you can see, I have the puller on this ring. This is the thickest one I can see. This one's pretty thin, this one's pretty thin, and that one's pretty thin, so they're more liable to break. This one is quite a bit thicker. Again, you probably want to use these holes if you have this style puller, but I do not. You can see it's in the center and it's all hooked on. Next thing I'm going to do is just get a wrench this size and start cranking it down clockwise, and it should start pulling this right off. And I'll go ahead and see if you can see this. It's weird that turned. Oh my gosh, there we go. There's one more. Oh, the bottom one popped off. So now I gotta set it back up, unless this is... No, it's definitely not loose yet, so I'm gonna have to reset my puller by putting this claw back on. It might have been off for a while, I don't know, honestly. But I'm going to reset it and continue doing what I was doing. Alright, and I'm sitting here honestly looking at my timing cover lower, and I think I only have 1 and 2 fasteners holding it on. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those and see if it comes off, because there's supposed to be one, I think, back there. There's not. Wait, is that one? That is one right there. Dang it. I didn't want to remove this bracket. At least it's not got a belt on or anything, so I should just be able to remove this bolt, drop it down. There better not be one behind here. Of course there is, but there's a little bit of room to get to it. I might be able to. And there's supposed to be one right there, but there's not. So I actually have 4. We'll see how this goes. Alright, so now as you can see, we have what used to be the innards of this bearing scattered all across this timing cover. We got it down here. We got piles of it laying against the crank gear. This will focus. There we go. We have the cover of the bearing. That looks lovely. It just looks like it kind of looks like it's been through a gear, so I imagine this probably helped something skip. And we got all the parts there. Now, I'm actually curious as to how the hell this thing is detensioned. I'll have to look into that, but there it is, bearings everywhere in here. Is that more stuff? No. But there's a bearing right there. There's bearings everywhere in this thing, so yeah, that was just a lovely failure right there. We got this. It looks like it's not failed yet. That's not failed yet, but they're black, so I think they're factory. I think they've gone 140,000 miles or something, so they're about due. Now, I really don't want to mess with this at night, so I'm going to stop right here. But as you can see, we're about ready to start counting cogs and see how screwed up this thing is. So, with that, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you found this interesting. And if you have any questions or anything, or you just want to laugh at my broken car, just let me know. Leave a comment. I'd love to laugh with you. Thanks for watching, guys.